Director of the Public Policy Center here at Boise State University. Today, we'll be discussing the recently released white paper, which is a 19-year retrospective on our annual public policy survey. I'll be joined today by Dr. Greg Hill, who, in conjunction with two of our graduate students, Seth Grigg and Andy Bourne, prepared the white paper, and with Carole Nemnich, Associate Director of the Public Policy Center, who will discuss the methodology we use in this annual survey.
Hi, Stephanie. As you've mentioned, annually the Public Policy Center's Social Science Research Center conducts a statewide poll of Idahoans, asking public policy questions and other topical concerns of the time. And we generally publish this for interested policymakers and for the citizens of Idaho. We regularly survey about 500 people, and they are all adults, and we try to stratify the results into 6 regions of the state so that we can get a more detailed look at what people feel about these issues in different areas of the state. The survey is in the field after the general election in the fall, and the results are then published to the public and policymakers in the beginning of the next calendar year. We use a random sample survey, so every Idahoan has an equal opportunity to be contacted, and a computer-aided telephone interviewing system is used to record the data. All citizens are guaranteed that they will have their privacy protected and they will never be mentioned by name. Additionally, citizens can opt out of the survey, or they can refuse to answer any particular question on the survey. We generally survey enough of the population that we have about a plus or minus 5% standard error at a confidence level of 95%. And what that means is that if we were to replicate the survey over and over, within 5 percentage points, we would come up with the same answers to the questionnaire. If you have any other questions about the survey and its methodology, you may look at the technical report, which is always included with the survey out on our website.
In the white paper, we include a set of questions that we've asked in the policy survey over and over again. We're trying to find some trends over time. Some of the questions that we've concern ourselves with are the important issues facing the state of Idaho. We ask questions related to trust in government. We ask questions related to government responsiveness and taxation. There's a question on party identification and a specific policy question related to the breaching of dams and their effect on salmon. The first question that we want to address today is a question that we call the most important issue facing Idaho today. We asked the respondents to answer the following question. What do you consider to be the most important issue facing Idaho today? The important feature of this question is that it's an open-ended question. We don't constrain the respondent in any way, so we get a broad array of answers. But we note that there are 4 answers that continue to appear over time. Education, the economy, the environment, and growth. And if you look at the graph, you'll note that the economy is consistently close to the top. In fact, as you see the spikes on the graph, you see that the economy, when people respond that the economy is the most important issue that they're facing, it generally correlates with economic downturns. Education is also high. You'll note that in the growth, as we look at the growth trend line, we see that at around 2005 or so, growth rate becomes a real concern for the citizens, the people who responded to the survey, and so forth. A second survey question that we'd like to look at today, we found particularly interesting, is the political party identification survey. We asked the respondents the following question: do you consider yourself to be a Republican, Democrat, or Independent? They had those 3 options to choose from. And there are a couple of interesting things to note in this question. The first interesting thing is that even though Idaho is considered to be a heavily Republican state, less than 50% of the respondents identified themselves as Republicans. In fact, from 1998 to 2008, we never saw more than 48% of the people identify themselves as Republicans. This is an interesting finding, we thought. Furthermore, if you look at the graph, the independent line runs between roughly 26%, as high as 36% of the population, but as of late tends to be going down. So fewer people are identifying themselves as independents, and the Democratic line seems to be going up. So it went from a low of about 18% in 2006 and tends to be on the upward swing. We can't sort of speculate on if the people are changing their own self-identification, what's causing the upswing in Democrats, what's causing the downward trend in the independents. But what we do note is that we are seeing those trend lines changing over time. Finally, we asked two questions about levels of government. The first question, we asked the respondents, in general, do you have more trust in the local, state, or federal government? And to nobody's surprise, we find that most citizens in Idaho, or at least who responded to the survey, found local government to be the level of government that they trust the most. The second level is the state government, and the third level of trust is the federal government. Related to that, ask a question about responsiveness. This question says, which level of government do you think best responds to your needs? These two graphs mirror one another. The level of government that's most responsive to your needs, at least according to the survey responses, is the local government, followed by the state government, and lagging behind for a long time was the federal government. If you look at the two graphs, around 2001 forward, federal government is gaining momentum in trust and responsiveness. This is not too surprising based on literature that we know that implies that as trust in government increases, so does your responsiveness.